Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Sunday, the 18th of January 2026. In today's Mill news, got a bit of a history lesson for you. So if you're sitting comfortably, let me begin. This is from bbc.co.uk. It's the news, the BBC News page, from the Highlands and the Islands. Yes, well, what's Millwall FC got to do with Bonnie Prince Charlie? Exactly. Well, let's find out. It's cut off, but I'll show you. A surprising link has been uncovered connecting English football club Millwall with two of Scotland's best known historical figures. Research into Martin McPhee, who played for the Lions more than 100 years ago, revealed he was a great grandson of Flora MacDonald. Yes, that Flora MacDonald. Who? Exactly. MacDonald is famous for helping Bonnie Prince Charlie after his defeat at the Battle of Culloden, and her role in his escape is celebrated in the Skyboat song. The link emerged through research into McPhee's life by historians assisted by Gaelic news website BBC Nadekdan. And there he is there. What a handsome young man. Picture taken in 1891. McPhee's family was from Erisco in the Isle of Skye. In the family history was a famous name, Flora MacDonald. She was a young woman when she became caught up in the aftermath of Culloden. The battle on the 16th of April 1746 saw Jacobite forces loyal to Charles Edward Stuart, nicknamed Bonnie Prince Charlie, defeated by the Duke of Cumberland's government army. Fought near Inverness involved the deaths of about 1,600 men, and 1,500 of them were Jacobites. That's what they call a rout. After the battle, the prince and a number of his supporters went on the run across the Highlands and Hebrides. MacDonald, who was living in Benbecula, was among those who helped the prince evade capture by government redcoat soldiers. She suggested he disguise himself as a serving maid for a crossing from Benbecula to Skye, where he was given shelter before continuing his escape to France. And there's a painting depicting the scene, Bonnie Prince Charlie with Flora MacDonald. Years later, her relatives, the McPhees, had a dramatic situation of their own to deal with, losing their home in the Highland clearances. The clearances of the 18th century and early 19th century saw hundreds of families moved off land by landowners to make way for large-scale sheep production or other agricultural uses. Some families moved to other parts of Scotland while others emigrated. Callum Beaton, chairman of Skye's Kilmore Historical Society, said the McPhees were among those who headed overseas. I understand they were evicted from Erisco when Duntulm Estate brought in a Cheviot sheep. There wouldn't have been much for them here at the time, and they went to Australia in search of a better life. Martin McPhee was born in 1865 in Merino Downs in Australia, but his connection to Skye remains strong and the cause of some interest for football historians. There you go. What a beautiful landscape, isn't it? Have you been to Skye? No, I've never been. I've never been, by the way. There's his home there. They knocked it down and let the sheep run around over it. Researching Millwall and its players has been a lifelong labour of love for David Sullivan. Last year, the South London club approached Sullivan seeking a list of every player who's ever played for the Lions. He said, the managing director at the club said, go back to the year dot, and I started digging, and that's where I got the interest in Martin McPhee. When I read originally that he was born in the Isle of Skye, I thought, this is great. We've never had a player from the Isle of Skye before. But then from research, it turned out that he was born in Australia. And we've had loads of them. However, with the help of BBC and Nat Dekadan, it emerged that McPhee grew up on Skye and not Australia. He was sent to live with relatives on the island after his mother died in 1869. Wow, can you imagine that? Can you imagine? So you're born in Australia, you can't understand your parents because they're speaking Scottish. She dies, and then you have to go back to Scotland that they've been talking about, and you have no idea what that is. And like back in those days, it would have involved, a sail ship, a journey on a sail ship, a sailboat, which would have taken 6 months, what if that, to get from Australia back to Britain. He probably would have had to. I don't know if that would have been quite expensive. Maybe he might have had to work on the ship to pay his portage. And then the ship would have come into somewhere like Bristol or Southampton. Then he would have had to made his way up. There were barely any trains at that time, so there wouldn't have been a train at Cardiff, Lochash or Malag. So he probably would have had to get a horse and buggy up or get another ship, get probably a ship to Belfast, and then get another local ship to Glasgow or to Skye or somewhere like that. What a journey that would have been for a young man to undertake in 1869. Wow. In Skye, his uncle Norman McPhee was an influential figure. Norman left the island to seek his fortune and was elected mayor of Tamworth in Staffordshire. The young McPhee would also make his name in England, but on the football pitch. In 1887, he was part of a new London Caledonians team, which defeated Tottenham Hotspur to set up a cup final clash with Millwall Rovers. Millwall had strong Scottish links of its own. The club was established in the Isle of Dogs by workers from the Scottish Tin Company, while also boasting several Scottish players and a chairman from the Black Isle. Scotland was rich pickings for the club, said Mr. Sullivan. McPhee joined Millwall, and let's have a look at this picture here. Millwall Rovers in 1888, with McPhee sitting on the far right. He doesn't look very happy, does he? Yeah. I think in those days, the photographs, you had to stand still for quite some time, though, while it was being taken. So he's probably not happy about that. Probably should have got himself more comfortable before they started taking a picture, though, you know what I mean? McPhee's on the far right, on the bottom. Back left, wearing a hat, is chairman Dr. William Murray Leslie from the Black Isle in the Islands. McPhee joined Millwall, and an 1890 newspaper report labelled him as one of the best halfbacks in London, which would be that's kind of what the role Casper de Norre plays, I would imagine. He played against the club's greatest rivals at the time, Royal Arsenal, and his footballing exploits included his own team, McPhee's 11, an outfit of players from Millwall and London Caledonians, for a Christmas Day game against Arsenal. The growth of Millwall and Arsenal, which also had strong Scottish roots, saw them become the first professional clubs in London. However, McPhee did not pursue a football career and instead joined the army. He served with the Royal Fusiliers and reached the rank of Sergeant Major. McPhee died on the south coast of England in 1952, far from the ruins of Erisco and even further from Merino Downs. His name would slip from memory, at least until Sullivan began digging. I've got a fascination with where players come from and what they did afterwards, he said. McPhee's family history and how he came back to Scotland, with some of his siblings after their mother died. It was quite emotional, really. Back in the ancestral home of Skye, Kilmore Historical Society hoped to include the tale in a forthcoming new book. Mr. Beaton said, "It's an unusual story and a new one to us, and I'd like to do more on it." So there you go. They didn't even know. He left. The people leave. They leave Skye and they go on to bigger and better things. And, back in those days, that was it. You couldn't Skype in. You couldn't Zoom in. You couldn't do a FaceTime call. You'd be lucky if you send a letter back. That would have been it. But, there you go. And show you this. I don't know if you have this. If you don't have this, you need to get this book, Mill's Who's Who. So I don't know if this is related to this, because this is kind of put together by Neil Fizzler with David Sullivan, Jim Creasy, and Chris Bethel. And it's literally what the guy said. Every player that's played for Millwall. Yeah, it says essential publication Millwall fan profiles every player who made a first team appearance for the club since their first competitive game in 1886. Have you ever wondered what happened to all those players you've seen come and go over the years? The heroes and villains, the saints and sinners, the stars you've talked about for years after they retired, and those you instantly forgot. And but not only that, those that you don't even know about because it was before your time. Like McPhee. So there you go. This is from victorpublishing.co.uk. You can buy the paperback version here, which is at $19.99. You can get a hardcover version from Amazon or Kindle version from Amazon. So well worth it. I will tell you that. It's got like a paragraph about each player, where they come from before they came to Millwall and what they did afterwards, and all of that stuff. So yeah, very, very, very interesting book to flick through and have a look at every now and then. Certainly not a book that you can get on Kindle. Now, I'm going to tell you about something happening next week on Tuesday. It's not the first team game, it's an under-21 game. So this has been hastily rearranged because for some reason the original fixture was supposed to be on a Sunday, which is absolutely batshit fucking crazy. I don't know why they did that. But it's been rearranged for Tuesday, the 20th of January, which, as you can see, is in 1 day, 16 hours, 49 minutes, and 10 seconds into the future. It's being played at Wheatsheaf Park, which is a football ground that you can attend. You can go to the game if you so wish to, but it is going to be a bit of a pain in the backside because, for some reason, even though it is an under-21 game that is being played in the middle of the day at a non-league stadium, the tickets are digital only. Yes. So this is from Brentford FC.com. And here we go. This is all about visiting Wheatsheaf Park because they play all of their under-21 games and under-18 games there. It was Staines Town's ground, and Staines went bust and Brentford bought it. So what you have to do, I don't know if this is still the case, but it was certainly the case last year when I went there, because the guy's like, well, I went up to buy a ticket on the turnstile, and I was like, oh, it's digital only. So, what do you fucking mean digital only? Not only that, so you would imagine digital only. So what do you think that means? It means you buy a ticket online, and they send you an email, and that email is the ticket. There's like a barcode in there. There's like a, what do they call it, QR code in there, and that will get you in. You scan that and you get in. Oh, no. It is a digital ticket, which is like a piece of code that they send to you, and you have to then upload to either your Apple Pay or your Google Wallet. And like, what do you mean you don't? You don't have Apple Pay? You don't have Google Wallet? Why don't you have that? It's the 21st century. It's like, yeah, I use this thing. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Cash. Have you heard of that? I also have this other thing, if that doesn't work, called a credit card. Have you heard of these? Why the fuck would I then expand that to fucking pointless shit that I don't fucking need when I have two things that work? So what they're doing, because they're being paid by Apple, they're being paid by Google to push all this stuff, because these companies want to, take over the world. They want to they think they're going to be banks and that. It's like, well, be careful what you wish for, because I think, the banks will probably, screw you over on that one. I don't think they'll like anyone cutting into their margins, so be careful about that. But yeah, so if you want to attend this game, it looks like, on the face of it, you're going to have to sign up. So you're a visiting fan. You're not a Brentford fan. You're a visiting fan. You have to go to Brentford's website, log into their ticket information by setting up an account, then buying a ticket, getting that sent to your email, and then getting that getting that uploaded to Google fucking shit and whatever, Apple Pay, that fucking crap. Just to go to an under-21 game at a non-league stadium on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? So, yeah. But, it does say here, so I was looking at this earlier. Right. Bag policy. Obviously, you can't bring a large backpack in, whatever, rucksack. You can have a small one in, and there's a thing, what size they can let in. Tickets, as it says, you have to buy online. But it says you can also purchase tickets by emailing the ticket office at Brentford at tickets@brentfordfc.com, or by calling the ticket office on 0333 005 8521. So I think this may be an issue, so much so that they probably are, like, it keeps coming up. Because I was lucky last year when I told them I don't have that shit. Like, well, I don't have all this shit. The guy just let me in for free. It's like, because it's literally like £5, £3 if you're over like OAP or whatever, and £1 if you're a kid. But they've got a box office there. So what's the box office doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is there a box office there? What are they selling? If you have to buy a ticket online. So have they now decided? Because this has been going on for like 3 years, since 2023. Have they now decided? Oh, people don't have Apple Pay and Google Wallet and all this shit. Maybe we should actually sell tickets, like real tickets. I don't know, but yeah, it's a cashless venue. There is seating on one side, and they do serve food and drink. I don't think they serve booze, but there is a food van in there that does that, which is quite unusual for under-21 games, especially the ones held in the afternoon. Don't generally get that. In the night games you might, but the daytime ones you don't generally get that. But it was good to see that. It's a proper. They've done it all out. They fit it all. It's a nice place to go. Other than the ticket situation, which is just bizarre, where they put it on you as the customer to get it all sorted, when you're the one paying them money. So here's the thing. If you said it would be £5 if you buy a ticket online, and it will be £10 if you just turn up and rock up, I would pay £10. I wouldn't give a shit. I will pay double than to waste my time as a Millwall fan signing up to Brentford FC to get an account there, to then get a ticket, and then to have to download it onto a thing that I'm not going to get. Like, what are we doing here, bruv? What are we doing? So do be aware, if you were looking at going to this game, all of this shit that's involved, there is a way that if you call the ticket office or email them, there might be a way that you can get a ticket that isn't this shit, but I don't know. I think they might have just done that for like disabled people, like they have to do like disability things. So it might just be for that. So we'll see what happens. I think it's just for disabled, not for people with bullshit and that. So there you go. And if you didn't know where that was, it's Staines Town to the southwest of Heathrow, and Wheatsheaf Park is there. There it is there. Right there, next to a horse farm. There's like horses over the thing. So if the ball goes over into the field, that field there, the horses are going to start kicking it around. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah, so there you go, yeah, and right on the River Thames there. Fantastic. Now, moving on to this. Pretty regular occurrence in the transfer windows. It's bbc.co.uk. It's their transfer done deals page. What's been going on? Have we signed anyone? No, we haven't. Oxford have signed Jamie McDonnell from Nottingham Forest for an undisclosed fee. Harry Cornick, who's currently serving a suspension for his involvement in the Bristol Brawl versus Millwall. He's gone on loan to Stevenage from Bristol City. Charlie Lennon has left Middlesbrough and gone to Barnsley for an undisclosed fee. Birmingham have brought in John Solis on loan. And Middlesbrough have also got rid of Lucas Engel, who's gone to Real Salt Lake City. So there you go. That's the deals in the Championship. Quite a few deals being announced. These are yesterday. This is Saturday. 17th is Saturday. And have we covered these ones before? I think we may have covered some of these. Ebu Adams, that's been announced as 500k. He's gone from Derby to Portsmouth. What else have we got? We've got... yeah, that's it. That's literally for the Championship. So there you go. Yeah, not a lot going on. Not bits and pieces. Now, moving on to this. This is from Mills FC's X.com page. 414. Following yesterday's fixture at Vicarage Road, Jake Cooper enters the list of our top 5 all-time appearance makers. What an achievement! ! And there you see, Barry Kitchener, Keith Stevens, Harry Cripps, Neil Harris, and now Jake Cooper. Fantastic stuff. And there's more to come. How much more to come? I don't know. But let's have a look at the numbers. So this is from mill-history.org.uk, not .co.uk as it says there on the banner there. No, it's .org.uk. If you click on the stats when you get to this page and you go to appearances, this is the page that will turn up. And as mentioned, at the moment, Jake Cooper is 414 appearances, 31 goals. And he's now number 5. He's overtaken Alan McCleary, who is now number 6. And, he is only 18 games away from overtaking Neil Harris, and then a further 12 games away from taking over Harry Cripps to get to 444. So he's 30 games away from getting 444. Which will take him to number 3 on the all-time list. And, he did get he's got a new deal for next season, so you would imagine, I think as I mentioned previously, the only thing that could scupper him, getting that far to get into number 3 is if we get promoted, because you would imagine they would give him a go, in the top division. But you suspect that it might be a step too far. And he might make a few appearances and then get relegated to the bench in favour of, some international global superstar that we bring in to play at centre-back instead of him. But, at the moment, so this season, if he plays in every game, I think he can miss 1 or 2, but we have enough games left in this season for him to overtake Neil Harris. And then he'll have to play 12 more games next season. So if we do get promoted, let's say they give him 3 games or whatnot in the league, maybe until the end of the transfer window in August or September. They give him the first month of the season. Then they'll give him the cup games, and that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be 12. That's not going to be enough to get up there. So you do wonder. You do wonder, mate, and obviously you want him to do it the right way. You don't want him then bringing him on as a sub late in games in the the 89th minute or whatever, just to get up to the number. You want it to be done properly. So it must. This is the thing with being a Championship footballer, because the gulf in class between the Championship and the Premiership is so big, that you're striving and you're striving and you're striving to finish at the top of the championship game after game. You win, keep winning to get to the top of the championship, and then you're literally like doing yourself out of a job, because if you're a player and you get promoted, I mean, it's gonna be brutal. Like, you're probably not gonna play. I mean, you're not gonna be involved, because the golfing class is there. It's probably a step too far. But like I said before, if we get promoted, and this is a strategy that's been used before. When you bring players in, you don't bring them in to stay up. You do not try to spend to stay in the Premier League. You spend the money to win the championship the season after, when you get relegated and you have to come back up, to win the league. So every player that you bring in, you tell them, look, this is the situation. You're coming in now. We're almost certainly going to get relegated. So we want you to lead the charge, not this year, but next year, when we're going to win the championship. And then you do that, and that gives you, prestige. You're a winner. You get more money. It's all good. So yeah, but like I said, we'll wait to see. 414. Yeah. Amazing stuff. Amazing. Not only that, look at all the goals. Obviously, goals have been few and far between of late, but he was quite regular with the goals, wasn't he? Quite regular. So yeah. Now, that's it for the news today. We're going to move on to stats. If that's not your bag, thank you for watching, and goodbye. If you are sticking around, here we go. So, this is it. This is the match centre, match report from WhoScored.com. Millwall created a high number of chances relative to their possession, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from through balls, were strong at finishing. We were aggressive, we gave away a lot of free kicks around the box, we had a high shot frequency when in possession, we favoured crossing the ball, and we favoured through balls. And if you look on the right hand side, you can see the top performers in ratings, shots, tackles, and dribbles. So yeah, I mean, it's looking good. There's a lot of blue there, isn't there? The top rated players. Femi Aziz got the highest rating, and then Camille Negley, then Caleb Taylor, Alfie Doughty, and Jake Cooper. Cool. If we go back to the middle, you can see the attempts on goal. It's 9-13, 6-8 open play, 3-4 set piece, 0-1 counter attack. Our 2 goals from our 13 shots is a 15% conversion rate, which is very good at this standard of football. We were mostly going down both wings, slightly biased to the right side. Obviously, that's where Femi Aziz is. And you can see Watford were mostly just going down the right side, because that's where Tom Ince played. Shot directions, shot zones, half of ours were inside the 18-yard box. Action zones, and player positions. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, there it is. So 14's Doughty, isn't it? 7's Ballo. So you can see Doughty pushing on, but Cramer's pushing on, basically. And you can see them, Watford trying to overload the middle of the park there. Yeah, but we've got 2 sitting. You've got Casper Nor and Billy Mitchell both sitting. So, yeah, that didn't work out, did it? Now, moving on to this, also from WhoScored.com. Here are the match events. Obviously, a lot of yellow cards, a lot of substitutions, and a couple of goals. Why not? Let's have it. So, yeah. 8 yellow cards in that game. 8 yellow cards. For what? It wasn't that kind of game. I thought, like I said yesterday, the referee was a bit bonkers, really, a bit bizarre. He gave everything for them until he didn't. Until about 5 minutes before the end of the game, he kind of switched up and started booking them left, right, and centre. Very weird performance there. If you look at the club badges in the top left and the top right, you can see the average player rating for each team. It's 6.22 for Watford and 6.86 for Millwall. That's quite a gap at this level, you know. What was that, 0.6 of a difference, averaging over the whole team. And you can see Femi Aziz, star man, 7.9, got the goal, got one of the goals. Coburn coming off the bench, 7.2, got the other goal. Nagley with an assist, 7.7. Yeah, I mean, everyone's looking good except for, you know, Ballo, who was obviously one of the first players yanked off. And then Ivanovic, 6.0. So, yeah. Right. Shots on goal. Or shots overall, whether on or off target. Aziz with 3, Doubt with 2, Taylor with 3. And Ince with 3. Abankwah with 2. And Bowler with 2. And Mama with 1. Possession 56 to 44. So you've got Cooper with 6.8% of the match time possession for him, 6% for Billy Mitchell. Pass success percentage 79 to 73. Okay, so this is it. Look at this, 91% for Negley. Although, how many passes did he make? But 100 for Ivanovic. And 50, obviously, the thing with Aziz and Ballo, their ones being low, and Doughty to some extent, because obviously they're just whipping crosses in, so they're probably just playing it into space. So whether they find a Millwall man or not, you know, that's going to mess up their stats. So yeah, doesn't really mean that much in the whole scheme of things. Dribbles 5 to 4. Obviously, Aziz with 3. Aerials 19 to 25. Have that. Look at that. Everyone in the team winning an aerial except for Ballo and Crocombe after starting 11. Coburn won 2. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Wasn't really an aerial game, was it? Apart from the set pieces. I don't think we didn't really pump it up long to the big man. So that's probably the game probably passed Ivanovic by to some extent, because we weren't doing that. It was coming through Aziz and Doughty most times. Tackles 8 to 17. Look at that, everyone with a tackle again except for Ivanovic and Crocombe. Tackling up front, Negley with 4, Doughty with 3, Billy Mitchell with 2, Langstaff with 2. Hey, why not? Tackles, corners 4 to 4. These are the players who won the corners, and dispossessed 8 to 4. So yep, having the ball taken off of you. Didn't like it, did he, loser? Didn't like it. He got very upset, didn't he? Poor lad. Poor lad. Anyway, let's move on to this. This is also from WhoScored.com. So, how many shots did they actually have on target? They had, 13 did they have? No, they had 9, was it? They had 9 shots. They only had 3 shots on target. How many did we have? We had 13 shots, and we had 4 shots on target. And we scored 2 goals. 2 goals from 4 shots on target. Wow, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. So ratings-wise, Femi is 7.92, Negley 7.67, Caleb Taylor 7.55, Doughty 7.54, Jake Cooper number 5 with 7.28, Dennis the keeper with 7.18, the goal scorer 7.15, Coburn, despite only having 30 minutes on the pitch. And then we're still in the we're going down to 8-9. Like I said, it was hard to pick a man in that match really, because you're going down to number 8. And you've got Crammer with 6.79. Number 9, Billy Mitchell, same score. Casper Denor, half the game he played 45 minutes. He got 6.76 rating. Langstaff replaced him. He got a 6.43. So now we're kind of dipping, you know, obviously because Langstaff, he did miss that header, didn't he? And you've got Maku, he did have a shot creating action for the goal, and you've got all of the subs except the lowest rated player, Mihailo Ivanovic. He had one shot which wasn't on target. He only touched the ball 7 times. 7 touches of the ball. Yikes. That's wow. In 66 minutes of football, he touched the ball 7 times. But when you compare that with Coburn, he's one shot on target, 8 touches of the ball. Wow. Yeah. So if we go to shots, shots and shots on target, Femi's is 3 and 1, Taylor 3 and 2, Doughty 2 and 0, Coburn 1 and 1. Bang, have some of that. Offense, we've just covered that. And it's not loading. Let's try again. There we go. Let's try again. How many offsides? Only 2 this time. Defensively, who did what? So we've seen the tackles. We have Camille Negley. Most tackles of a Millwall player, 4. Then Doughty 3. Then Billy Mitchell with 2. Then Langstaff with 2. Interceptions, 1 each for these players. Sturgeon and Cundall and all of the subs being involved in the interceptions. Fresh legs? What's that about? Maybe fresh legs. Weird, huh? Clearances. Jake Cooper with 8, Doughty with 5, Taylor with 5, Denor with 3, and then Mitchell, Negley and Crammer with 2 each. Blocked shots, Doughty, Taylor, Negley, 1 apiece. So, moving on to this, which is fbref.com, and I don't know, there's been some kind of processing error because it hasn't uploaded properly. It's uploaded like they normally do it for a cup game, where they have partial stats, so they don't have the XG. They've got minimum here. So they've got possession 56 to 44. Shots on target 3 of 9 for them, 4 of 13 for us. Saves, their keeper made 2 of 4. Ours made 3 of 3. Fouls 7 to 22. Corners 4 to 4. Crosses 21 to 20. Interception 6 and 6, and offside 0 and 2. And again, we go down like the full load of stats isn't here, so I don't know what that's about. Hasn't uploaded properly. There's not really much to add, really, basically. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't uploaded properly. We don't get the list of the shots. I could try refreshing it, but you know what normally happens is they run their software over the full game replay, and then they get the information from that. I am a human. Yeah, it's not uploaded, so we'll leave it there. On that note, thank you for watching. Onwards and upwards. Bye bye.